Today's lost sector is Aphelion's Rest. We're running on the Strand Warlock with the Stormer Boots, and we're using the auto-loading holster and chill clip Riptide along with Staccato for the Unstoppables, and then Commemoration just to deal with any adds, the boss damage, stuff like that. With the Swarmer build, you just kind of want to make sure you have decent grenade energy and then decent recovery. That way you can get your grenades and your rifts out fast, and you can cycle through those. So let's get started here. Okay, so starting off with the lost sector, you really just have to deal with some shadow thralls. If you have any catalysts to work on or anything like that, this is a good lost sector to do when it's available for the legend, because the shadow thralls spawn pretty regularly. You start with full ammo for things, so it's nice. So here you just want to deal with these shadow thrall, get them out of the way. There's only 2 waves of them, pretty easy. Then over here you're going to have your first champion and a few more shadow thralls. So you just want to deal with the shadow thralls first before you get aggro from the champion. We'll kind of funnel in through here. I would just use anything that's like really good for clearing out ads. You can use Staccato Incandescent. You can use a Kelos SMG with Volt Shot. So it's really your choice. This is a little funnel to push the Unstoppable through once it's ready. So you just want to melt that down. You can use Shatter. You can do the Unstoppable proc on it. You can do Ignitions. It's really your call there, but you just want to make sure you burn that down before you move forward too much. Next room's going to have a few more Shadow Draw and a couple of regular Hobgoblins, and then some taken Scions are going to spawn. Those can be a little annoying. The Hobgoblins here that are regular are just going to have those little stasis shots that they do occasionally, and then they have the Overload right there as well as an Unstoppable in this room. So what I like to do first is deal with whatever minor enemies I can bait out first, and then bait out the Unstoppable. Maybe tag the Overload so that way while I'm trying to bait the Unstoppable, I'm not getting hit by it. But first you want to deal with the Unstoppable primarily. You have this rock wall to play around. You can use it as a cover while you push up on the enemies there. You can see how the Overload is right there. I went ahead and stunned him. I started to bait out the Unstoppable. Back around this corner again. Isolate it, and then just deal damage to it. Sometimes that Overload will peek back around that corner, but you can just kind of move further around. And you have plenty of space to work with while you deal with the Unstoppable. Now the thing to be careful of here is just making sure you deal with whatever other ads are around there. You don't want to get tagged by something secretly while you push up to deal with the Overload. The other thing you can use here would be the Monarch. Gives you a range option for the Overload, but you just want to take out the Overload as quickly as possible once you have it isolated there. So now you have one more champion to deal with. You have another Overload in the far back, and there's a few more snipers back there, and then just a buttload of taken Scions. You can again play around this rock face here, poke at the things from around the corner at range, and just take out the regular enemies first. Unless you're using something with at the range Overload option, you're not really going to be able to deal with the Overload enemy yet. You're going to want to probably deal with that after the boss. If it's causing you any issues, switch over to a range option. You can do Stasis, you can do Jolt effects, will also stun the Overload, but right now I would just primarily focus down taking on everything else and just deal with the Overload blast, because if you play around the cover, it can't really do much to you. Once a lot of those ads are taken care of, you'll see that the other enemies spawn in. That one has the boss right there as well. Again, no matter what in this lost sector is very easy as long as you have the right stuff to deal with the champions, and then you're playing around this little natural cover that they have built in. Don't get caught up in the boss's fire. Don't get frozen by the enemies who are going to be firing stasis shots at you. You'll be more than fine in this. You do have to be careful a little bit about the overload because sometimes it will just randomly do its retaliation shots, and it will push on you a little bit there. But again, as long as you back up when you need to and just play around the rock, you'll be fine. So there's another wave of ads that spawned here. You just want to deal with those as quickly and efficiently as possible, but again, just don't overextend yourself. If you start getting weak, back up around the corner and then just kind of wait, poke back out again. Take things as slowly and steadily as you need to. Alright, and now once everything else is dead and all you have left is the Overload Champion, you can push on that. Realistically, at this point, you could just grab the chest. But if you want to deal with the champion to not mess up the Flawless, then just deal with the Overload real quickly. Now it's isolated, and you'll be good to go. Alright, there you go. Have a good one, everybody.